First up on the show, in West Asia, tensions are soaring high after the recent assassination of Hamas and Hezbollah leaders, including Ismail Haniyeh. As Israel braces for Iran's retaliation, the US President Joe Biden held a crisis meeting with his national security team. Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris were briefed on the threats posed by Iran and its proxies. The White House said that they were also updated on the U.S. military efforts to support Israel's defense. Remember, U.S. has lately sent extra warships and fighter jets to the region in support of Israel. The leaders discussed efforts to de-escalate tensions, particularly through the ceasefire hostage release deal currently on the table between Israel and Hamas. Biden also discussed the efforts with Jordan's King Abdullah on a phone call. Their call followed a rare visit to Iran by the Jordanian Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi. As part of its precautionary measures, Jordan has requested all airlines landing at its airports to carry 45 minutes of reserve fuel. A safety notice was issued by the Jordanian authorities asking all airlines to carry the reserve fuel for operational reasons. Several airlines have also already cancelled flights to Israel and Lebanon and are avoiding the airspace amid concerns. Meanwhile, the U.S. CENTCOM Chief General Michael Kurilla is in West Asia and has paid a visit to Israel. He is the head of the U.S. military command covering West Asia. As part of steps to mitigate the possibility of escalation, Kurilla met with Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant in Tel Aviv. Gallant told the U.S. commander that his arrival was a direct translation of U.S. support for Israel. Kurilla also met with Israel's military chief, Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, for a security assessment. Now, as diplomatic talks continued, a fresh rocket attack on a military base in Iraq wounded several U.S. personnel. 2 rockets were fired at the base. This is the latest in a series of attacks targeting the Ain al-Assad base in western Iraq. Today's attack comes after 2 recent attacks on the base in July. The al-Assad base hosts American troops as well as personnel from the US-led coalition against the Islamic State group. Remember, the US military has around 2,500 troops in Iraq and 900 in Syria. The coalition was deployed to Iraq at the government's request in 2014 to help combat the Islamic State group. In fact, the U.S. is deeply entrenched in West Asia with its multiple air bases. There are 12 American warships in the region, including the USS Theodore Roosevelt aircraft carrier. Holding this position, the Biden administration has promised support for Israel, but it urges restraint from all sides. After today's attack on the al-Assad air base, Biden has said that the U.S. will respond in a manner and place of its own choosing. But while Washington has vowed retaliation to any attack, the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, has said that the U.S. is working around the clock to prevent any escalation. Blinken has also urged Israel and Hamas to break the cycle of violence by reaching a ceasefire, saying that escalation would only lead to more conflict, more violence, more insecurity.
It's also critical that we break this cycle by reaching a ceasefire in Gaza. That in turn will unlock possibilities for more enduring calm, not only in Gaza itself, but in other areas where the conflict could spread. So for the United States, for many other countries, both in the region and beyond, this is our focus.
All right, for more on this, we are now being joined by Iran journalist and international relations expert Ilham Abedini from Tehran. And Abedini, thanks very much indeed for joining us this afternoon. Your thoughts on what's happening at the moment in West Asia? The ceasefire talks are stalled. Hamas is indicating that unless they retaliate the killing of Ismail Haniyeh and the situation improves in some ways, they will not go back to the negotiating table. And of course, the recent attack on the American base in Iraq. How do you view all these developments in the last couple of days?
Thank you for having me. Actually, I think we have to mention that Ismail Haniyeh is a Hamas negotiator. He was a diplomat, and Israel had to, if Israel wanted to do any ceasefire and any negotiation, the Israel should negotiate with Ismail Haniyeh and his colleagues. But Israeli regime decided to assassinate the person who was in the position of negotiation. So it shows that the side that do not want any negotiation or any ceasefire that is achieved by a negotiation is Israeli side, because before that we see that Hamas and also other mediators try to achieve kind of ceasefire, but every time Netanyahu said that we do not want ceasefire, and the only goal that we have is destroy Hamas completely. And as some data shows that they even do not achieve this goal. So I suppose we have to clarify this issue. And another thing is that I'm not in line with that some media talk about proxies backed by Iran, because now we see Ansarullah, Hezbollah, and even Palestinian resistance groups in Gaza, they actually perform independently as they did in 7th October, or now we see Ansarullah in Yemen did independently make some operations. Maybe the goal of all of these groups are the same, but I suppose they are performing completely independently, not really in line with this, that we say they are backed by Iran. I suppose this is kind of network. And when Israeli regime try to hit all of this network, because we see that at the same time they hit Iraqi Hashd Shabi, they hit Fuad Shukr, they assassinated Fuad Shukr in Lebanon, and the final step was what they did in Iran. So I suppose they should actually wait for a tough response from this.
Okay, that's an important point you're making. You're saying essentially that the proxies, as they're being called, are separate from the Iranian establishment, and decisions taken by Iran will be, separate. But, I do want to point out that to another issue, of course, the fact that what's happening in Gaza at the moment has taken a back seat because there are major concerns about a regional conflict, a possible escalation between Israel and Iran and other countries also being involved, whether you call them other countries, whether you call proxies operating from other countries. So do you think that there is going to be a major lag in any kind of decision in Gaza because of what's happening currently between Israel and Iran?
Actually, I suppose that until Israelis think that they can destroy completely Hamas, or they can actually make this genocide continue, the Gaza war would be continued. Actually, separate from there is a war or something like this between Israel or Iran. I myself see Gaza situation separately and independently from what's happening between Iran and Israel, or Lebanon and Israel, because as Israel and their prime minister said that they want to continue this genocide in Gaza. So I myself see this as two separate situations, two separate action problems.
Right, and Russia's Sergei Shoigu is in Iran, and he's likely to meet the president as well. What sort of decisions can we expect from this meeting, and how does that counter what Americans are doing in West Asia?
Actually, I suppose there in the recent years between Iran, China, and Russia, there are some cooperation in different fields, including military situations. So I don't think that this specific meeting is just related to what happened about between Israel and Iran. I suppose this is more than that. It is related to the cooperation that is achieved between Iran and Russia during recent years.
Right. Ilham Abedini from Tehran, who's a journalist and international relations expert. Thanks very much indeed for talking to WION this afternoon.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.